to do now?
Yeah, just each day a little bit more. He's still working on conditioning, doing a little more basketball, doing small parts of practice. There's a progression to what he's doing, so eventually he'll be cleared to do all the non-contact, and then we'll start off with one-on-one, two-on-two, three-on-three, to the point where he can take contact on. To go from 0 to 100 doesn't make any sense. So just each step, once he clears the step, he goes to the next one. So he's making really good progress. He's doing a great job in practice with the things that he can do. He's doing a lot of extra work on the side with Aaron Brooks. So it's been very, very good.
Do you guys like a smooth progression for him, or did he have any setbacks along the way?
No, just we just want to make sure completely healed, and when you've been out the amount of time, he's got to get the conditioning up to speed first. So that's really the first step, and then once that happens, then it'll be clear to do more and more in practice.
You expect him ready for the start of the season?
There's really no timetable. When he's ready, and so we talk to the medical people every day and talk to Mitch to see how he's doing, and again I think it's important for us to have a big picture in mind with him.
We saw him way back in when you guys were in the playoffs, like doing stuff on the court before the games. So it seemed like he was on a quicker path to recovery, but this was the plan all along to keep him.
Yeah, I mean, as you go, you want to see where he is until he can, once he can go through a normal practice and take contact on, like we can talk about conditioning all we want in a pool or on a bike. It's not 5-on-5 NBA basketball where, there's the speed, the physicality, the power that's involved. You have to make sure that he can handle all of that. And so that's why I think it's so important for us to go step by step. And then, once he's there, we'll clear him and we'll go.
Last year, you guys played about 1,100 minutes where you didn't have Noel or Robinson on the floor. You had a 102 defensive rating in those minutes. What did you do well in order to clean up without your career?
I think Taj, and that's the great value in having a guy like Taj. Taj has been an elite defender throughout his career. So even though he's a little older now, but he stays ready. He stays in great shape. He's locked into everything that you're doing, and whether he's not in the rotation and he's just practicing hard, helping his teammates, he'll help the team any way he can. And then if you have to plug him in off the bench, he can handle that. If you have to plug him in as a starter, he can handle that. He's played two positions his entire career. He's started, he's come off the bench, he's finished a lot of games. And so he's invaluable to us.
Speaking of defending, is RJ ready for that, take it to the next level as far as maybe being the guy that takes, he's talked about being a two-way player, being the guy that takes the best player.
Yeah, and I think that's the challenge, is to find and to continue to challenge him to grow and get better. And I think each year you learn, and I think he has a better understanding of the tendencies of the players. I think he understands schemes a lot better. He's gotten stronger. But I think it's a challenge for our entire team to stay locked in and to improve. And there's a lot of things that we could do better.
You guys obviously, you said it the other day, historic defensive season when you look at some of the field goal percentage. Number 4, I think, in defensive efficiency. And Alfred and Reggie are not here. Kemba, Evan are here. Is it almost, I don't want to predict the future, but how do you maintain what you did last year without those?
But I think it's important for us, like last year is last year, this year is a new and different year. And it's important for us to start at a zero base, to know that we have to put the work into this. It's very difficult to guard in this league individually. It's collectively, what can you do as a team? And so everyone has to understand what their job is, go out there and execute their part of it. If one guy's not doing their job, it'll break down. And so it doesn't matter whether it's defensive transition, pick and roll defense, catch and shoot defense, low post defense, whatever defense you're in, it's got to be 5 guys tied together. Each night you'll be challenged in a different way. Some nights it may be the big, a lot of nights it's point guards, a lot of nights it's wings. And so we always say help your teammate like you would want to be helped for. So everyone has to be in the right position, everyone has to read the ball correctly, everyone has to make multiple effort.
In the whole season, did you allow yourself to hear the fans talk about how excited they were about this upcoming season and what had happened last year, or did you just focus on?
Well, I think part of, the benefit of having been here before, I understand what the Knicks mean to the city, how important basketball is, the arena. I know whether I was here as an assistant or I came in as an opposing coach, it's just a great place to play. And the fans are special here, the arena's special. And so I think, if you give fans, New York fans, the right type of effort, they're going to recognize it and appreciate it. And so we want to play hard every night, and we want to play together, and we want to play smart because we know there's an appreciation for it. And so, go ahead.
I would say even before his injury, Mitchell's block shots have gone down every season. But did you see, is that an indication of what he's doing as a rim protector, or is he a different guy now?
Well, and it's a great question because oftentimes, there's when we talk about defensive ratings and different measurements, sometimes you may see a guy who's high in steals and he gets rated highly because of that, and oftentimes he's a guy that breaks you down. And the same thing if you just go after blocks all the time and you're not fulfilling your team responsibilities, your blocks may be high, but you may not be effective in terms of your team defense or your pick and roll defense or whatever it might be. So I think the big thing for us was getting his fouls down, and I think he's done a great job with that. And there's still the rim intimidation. Like, guys are looking to see where he is. And so I think his discipline has improved greatly. So he's not recklessly just flying all over the place. He's got a lot more discipline to his game. He's impacting shots in the paint and the restricted in a very efficient way.
It seems like he, like what he's been posting about how much muscle he put on. That comes with weight too, right?
Yeah,
Is
no.
that good and bad? I mean, how do you view that?
But, well, the thing that I like about what he did is he maximized the time, in a way. So what were the things that he could do, and he did them. And in terms of strength and conditioning, whatever it might have been, whether it was the pool, the bike, but physically, I think he's matured also. He's not a young kid anymore, and he looks great. And so, with any big, you have to have that awareness of the weight. And I also think that once he gets to playing, some of that's going to come off. But he's definitely a lot stronger than he was. He's put a lot of work in terms of watching film, and he's doing all the things that he can do. And I think he's very engaged with his teammates. When he's on the sideline, he's into what's going on. He gets there early. He's with the early group. He'll stay late. He'll come in at night. So he's in the building all the time. It's a big plus.
All right, Tom, this is, sorry.
Last one, too.
It's a little off topic, but the other day you were saying how different the game was officiated back when you were coaching this team as an assistant to now. Looking back at that time, how different is it the way coaches kind of communicate with players, approach players, coach players back then to now, as far as what's like accepted or most effective?
Yeah, and I think things are always changing. I think that how you connect is different than it was back then, so you have to adapt. But I think understanding the same things go into winning. It's discipline, it's hard work, it's unselfishness, it's the commitment to each other. How you deliver the message is, I think, important. And I think you always have to be aware of that. there's probably a little more sensitivity now than there was then, so you have a lot more individual meetings. And I think with individual meetings, I think being honest and truthful is the most important thing. It's the only way to build trust. And so that's a big part of it. And the challenge is to bring the best out of everyone and for all of us. And we talk about it all the time. We don't want the leadership to fall on one or two people. We want it to be a team of leaders, and that's what we strive to build within the team.